Imagine waking up one morning and hearing that one of the world's largest smartphone brands, Samsung, might be banned across all of China. Not because of pricing, not because of competition, but because of spyware supposedly baked right into the firmware. Now, whether you believe the accusation or not, it instantly raises a much bigger question. Who actually controls the technology we use every single day? And in a world where every tap, swipe, and message leaves a digital footprint, are our devices still personal? Or are they quietly becoming political? Because that's exactly what's unfolding right now. China, Samsung, Israel, the United States. 4 players, 1 stage, and a controversy that goes far beyond smartphones. This isn't just a product ban. This is about digital sovereignty, national power, and a tech war that's shaping the next decade. Before we go deeper, if you find topics like this fascinating and valuable, hit the like button and share this video. It really helps push this kind of global analysis to more viewers who care about what's happening behind the headlines. Now let's unpack what's going on here in a way that makes sense without the noise. China's cybersecurity authorities have recently raised alarms over what they claim is unremovable Israeli-origin spyware buried deep inside Samsung devices. According to one state-affiliated research institute, multiple Samsung models were found to send encrypted telemetry to servers linked to Israeli contractors. The allegation is that this code is so tightly woven into the firmware that deleting it would basically break essential phone functions. Samsung, of course, denies this completely. They say it's standard diagnostic data, like what almost every smartphone company collects. But here's the thing. This issue is unfolding in a geopolitical climate where data is now viewed as a national security asset, not a casual byproduct of using apps. So even if the code itself is harmless, the interpretation of that code becomes political currency. And China sees smartphones not as gadgets, but as weak points. Vulnerable entry doors in a world where information is the new oil. Here's where it gets interesting. China's suspicion of foreign tech isn't new. Ever since the Snowden leaks, Chinese policymakers have believed quite openly that Western devices can be weaponized for surveillance. And to be fair, they're not alone. Plenty of governments around the world share the same fear and have taken similar actions. But in China's case, it folds perfectly into a much larger agenda. Technological self-reliance. Domestic champions like Huawei, Xiaomi, OPPO, and Honor are rising fast, pushing into premium markets that Samsung and Apple dominated for years. And every time a foreign competitor runs into a regulatory wall, a domestic brand tends to rise and fill that space. Coincidence? Maybe. Strategic? Absolutely. But the key question is whether this is a genuine security threat or a politically convenient one. China has built some of the strictest data and cybersecurity laws in the world. Laws that give the government sweeping authority to audit, restrict, or ban any foreign technology it believes poses a risk. And risk is defined very broadly. Cybersecurity, industrial sovereignty, foreign influence, supply chain dependency. These all fall under China's national security umbrella. The blurry line between real threat and useful pretext is exactly what gives Beijing flexibility. When something aligns with its broader strategic interest, say weakening the market share of a foreign brand while boosting domestic alternatives, it can frame the move as a security necessity. And remember this, security is always the language. Competition is often the substance. Now here's a hook you may not have thought about. Why would Israel, a country that already has one foot in the US-aligned intelligence world, be the source of this alleged code inside Samsung? And what would that mean for Chinese policymakers already skeptical of Western-linked tech ecosystems? Even if the code is harmless, the association alone carries political weight. Meanwhile, China's high-end smartphone scene has been heating up. Huawei shocked the world by bouncing back from US sanctions with new flagship phones powered by domestic chipsets. Xiaomi and Honor are pushing harder into Apple and Samsung territory. And with nationalist sentiment driving a lot of consumer decisions, foreign brands face a long-term uphill battle. So, from an industrial perspective, a major Samsung scandal, true or not, directly boosts domestic brands at the perfect moment. Now, let's pause here for a second. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Do you believe this is a real security threat? Or just another chapter in the global tech rivalry? Drop a comment with your view. I read every one of them, and your insights often shape future videos. Alright, let's continue. The economic logic behind this backlash is surprisingly straightforward. Keep the value chain at home. China is heavily investing in domestic chip production, display panels, batteries, sensors, you name it. Every time a Chinese consumer buys a Huawei or Xiaomi phone instead of a Samsung, it strengthens China's upstream suppliers. It keeps money inside the country, supports local jobs, and reduces reliance on foreign technology. This isn't unique to China. Japan did it in the 80s. South Korea did it in the 90s. The United States is doing it now with CHIPS Act subsidies. But China's massive consumer base gives it exceptional leverage. When China shifts its market preferences, global supply chains feel it instantly. And that brings us to the geopolitical ripple effect. For South Korea, Samsung is not just a brand, it's practically a national symbol. China is one of Samsung's biggest markets. A nationwide ban would hit not only Samsung's phone division, but also its entire reputation across Asia. South Korea's government would see this not only as an economic blow, but as a political move. A signal that China is willing to weaponize market access to shape alliances and influence technological loyalty. It's déjà vu for South Korea. During the THAAD missile defense crisis in 2016-2017, China didn't hesitate to impose informal pressure on Korean businesses. That memory is still fresh. If Samsung becomes the next target, South Korea may lean even further toward the United States in semiconductor cooperation, something China doesn't want to see. Then there's Israel. If the spyware claim is tied to Israeli code even unintentionally, it complicates China-Israel relations at a very sensitive moment. Israel has been gradually distancing itself from Chinese investment under U.S. pressure. A scandal like this could accelerate that shift. Even if Israel did nothing wrong, the perception alone gives China an excuse to tighten scrutiny of Israeli tech firms and align more closely with countries that support its digital sovereignty goals. And of course, the United States is watching this closely. For Washington, this is another sign that global tech ecosystems are splitting into political zones. If China bans Samsung over alleged US-aligned spyware, it strengthens China's narrative that its tech regulations are defensive rather than protectionist. But the bigger picture is this. The global digital order is fragmenting. Trust is no longer universal. Supply chains are no longer neutral. Every country is building its own digital fortress, and multinational companies like Samsung are stuck in the middle. The deeper philosophical divide is also becoming clearer. China sees technological autonomy as essential not only for security, but for national dignity. It wants to build, control, and secure its own digital infrastructure. And Samsung, powerful, foreign, and deeply tied to allied ecosystems, doesn't fit neatly into that future. Which leads us to an uncomfortable but important conclusion. Every device is becoming political. Your smartphone isn't just hardware. Your apps aren't just code. Your data isn't just information. They're all part of a global chessboard where governments fight for influence, control, and strategic dominance. And the Samsung spyware controversy is just one example, one window into a much bigger shift where nations are carving the digital world into competing spheres of trust and technology. We're entering a future where the phone you buy, the cloud service you use, and even the brand you prefer might say something about which side of the digital world you belong to. If you watched till the end, thank you. I appreciate your time. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. And as always, thanks for watching.